say.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. I'm here with the crew. I'm here with Petey and Cal. Today we're talking about that serious subject, the Ray Fisher issue with DC. It's still continuing. We thought it was over after the investigation. We thought it was over.
We hoped it was over.
We thought that it was over, you know, when DC said it was a wrap. Warner Media said it was a wrap. Guess what? We thought it was over when Ray Fisher seems to have been written out of Flash. Now Ray Fisher is shooting back, and he has an audio from I guess the investigators or something from Warner Media talking about this whole episode. So hey, Selecta, play the clip.
That's why I wanted it already queued. Here we go.
Here we go.
A very time-consuming process, and I know this has not been an easy one by any means. And if ever there were any points in time where I seemed defensive or yeah, please.
Ray, you've been a gentleman. You've been a gentleman, and I'll say you've been a man of your word. And that is what we have reported to the company, which is that you told us you would give us names. You gave us names. You told us you would meet with us on a particular day at a particular time. You never tried to reschedule it. You met us. You even gave us information after that. You've been a man of your word. You are someone that we have found extremely credible. And the fact that you risk so much is part of what lends itself to your credibility. But just also, you know, the facts speak for themselves.
I know that this is.
So what's so funny?
Yeah, what was there? There's nothing there.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
They wanted to say something nice on tape, and they did. They said nice things to Ray.
They said he showed up on time. That he was a man of his word by showing up on time, and you're fired.
You didn't Kaepernick us. You showed up when you said you would show up, and I don't know what he actually showed.
Yeah. So once again, I mean, what? It's a tough one. It's not clear. We're not getting anything more about the investigation. Clearly, Ray feels that he's been done wrong, which you cannot doubt. You know, when he's been written out of a role that would have, you know. But this is, I don't know what to say. It's like, wow, you know.
You're being remarkably even about this, Mars. Okay, and you've got the business mind over here. You're being remarkable about this. This guy said that he was treated in a wrong manner on set. They did an investigation. Okay, they made whatever decisions they were going to make. He wouldn't shut up about it. He ended up being written out of his role, which was going to happen because he couldn't shut up about it. Didn't want to go through any particular process. Now he's like, well, I'm going to drop little. I'm going to come over here and drop snippets of the meeting that I recorded. That I hope, you know, I hope these people know he recorded it, or it, you know, I hope that he was up front saying, oh yeah, you know, I'm recording this because surreptitious recording is not admissible depending on where you are. Okay, and it's also actionable depending on where you are. And it's like, well, dude, you got what you wanted. You got the investigation. You're not supposed to get outcomes you necessarily want from it. You're supposed to be able to get that process started. If you honestly think the guy at the top of Warner Brothers is supposed to go and take a tumble because you don't like how Joss Whedon treated you on set, hey.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, it does say that that he backed up his claims. I mean, that's what they're saying there. They agreed to it. They're not giving much. You know, but you're right. The investigation seems that whatever this is it. They did the investigation, and this is what they're sticking to. I mean, look, they renewed the contract for Walter Hamada. He's not going anywhere. You know what I'm trying to say? Unless it's like one of those golden parachutes. They renewed his contract a couple of weeks ago. So you see where they're siding right now. They're saying we're going to go with the dude who did us the horror films and is in charge of this stuff, the rest of Warner Media. That's what they're putting their fingers on, you know. So right now it doesn't look as though he can do much unless, you know, he's going to do the Kaepernick and push this forward. Probably something else will shake, or probably other people will come forward, but doesn't seem anyone else has so far. I don't know. It's a tough. I feel bad for him. You know, I feel bad for anybody in a situation who feels that they are being wronged and he feels that there could be a cover up. But it's tough, you know.
I'm just saying we didn't get to hear anything, so it was almost unnecessary to point that out. for them compelling, commending him for being on time. That's sort of nonsense. And at the same time, I like to play a video I did of the other day of Mars saying I was right. It's a surprise to me, so I will be playing that for the next 10 minutes at the end of our show, because he finally owned up. He finally accepted his loss that he had to accept, and that's what it is. And I taped it without him knowing
I'm taking you to court, my friend.
it.
Which is exactly, that's Ray Fisher's next role. It's going to be as a defendant.
I will be on time then, Mars. I will be on time, so I expect you to also commend me for my, my attendance.
He will show up where he's supposed to show up, and he will show up where he's supposed to show up. And I hope that will gain him, I have no idea. So that's pretty much what you're supposed to do anyway. People expect you to show up when and where you're supposed to show up, especially if you're the person who caused the action. I don't see what the tough thing about this is. This guy came, he brought all this stuff over here. They did the investigation. What is it that Ray Fisher wants right now that he knows good and well he's not going to get, other than the fact that he's like, well, I can't be an actor anymore, so I'm going to be a firebrand? What's supposed to happen from all of this? You're not going to get this dude, okay? You got yourself written. It's not you didn't want to do these films any longer, or you would have went about this a different way. So what is the end result supposed to be here? You're going to be the Twitter folk hero? If that's what you want, hey, great, that's what you got. But the bit of evidence that you brought out over here, it just proves that there was actually a conversation. It doesn't prove any of your claims. I don't know how far you can go with it. And it just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem very wise at the end of the day. Not if your end goal was that you really wanted to still be a part of these things. It seems like you didn't want to, and for whatever reason, you decided you were going to go out in this blaze of glory, which is real more like a puff of smoke.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is that he's saying that he has an NDA, right, a non-disclosure agreement, so he can't really say the specifics. So that's why we haven't been able to get the specific comments. I mean, some things have leaked out and whatever, but it's. I understand. He has to, in order for, I guess he must have made these comments and nothing happened. So he had to rattle it. That's why he had to make these statements to try to get attention to what's going on. And so that was only finally after it started going around the web that they finally did the investigation. They didn't do the investigation prior to that. It was him constantly pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And so now the findings come out, and it unfortunately didn't come out in his favor. Or if it did, it didn't come out to what his expectation of what should happen. And so he continues to push it forward. And unfortunately, there's been a cost now that, he's being written out of the Flash role. The one thing is that you got to say about Cyborg is that, Ray Fisher, is that, while he was great in the role, good in his job, the character doesn't seem to resonate as strongly as some of the others like Aquaman and Wonder Woman. And if he could somehow up the value of his character, then he could put more pressure on the company. I don't see him doing the same amount of.
How's he going to do that? He got written out.
No, he got written out, but I don't see the amount of other projects that he's doing either. You got to become popular. You have to be selling those things in order for people to then say, hey, this guy's popular. It's like, you're doing Will Smith, and Will Smith can come back and put pressure on the company. Like, yo, this is me. You want me. This is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to make these changes.
He shot himself in the foot. He didn't give himself the opportunity to make the character more popular.
But studio heads are very hard to, I haven't seen, it's easier to get rid of directors and actors and producers, but studio heads are a whole nother ball of wax. You don't have those guys. It's a select few. It's like those guys just don't get ousted by an actor often. It's very rare. I think the last guy who was running
ousted by anyone. They're the head.
I know.
He's sniffing on some Harvey Weinstein train or something of that nature. That was just, hey, that's a once in a lifetime thing.
His brother took him down.
Who the head of the studio is.
According to the New York Times, his brother took him down. So he's the one who brought him down. So that it wasn't even the actor, your own co-president or whatever. So it's like,
takes a boss to kill a boss.
Well, when he recently also said that if they asked him to do Cyborg in the Justice League, he would do it. He'd take the call at least. So it's like he's saying that DC hasn't even been like that tough about it, because their statement was that, they conducted an investigation that he was offered the role of Cyborg in the Flash and given his statements that he wouldn't participate, they decided to move on. So it's not even like they planned. He's like, he already made the statement. They're just following through with what he said, So
Yeah, you think he said too much, kept on continuing, like, you know what, we don't need this headache.
what do you? I say I don't want to work with you. You just do the show without me, right? And I say, hey, why don't you call me up? He said, well, you said you didn't want to do the show. What are you supposed to do?
Well, that's the thing we're having right
He gave him the easy out.
Yeah, and it's more than likely he could have. He seemed to get on with what's this guy's name again?
Aquaman.
Zack Snyder. He seemed to get along with Zack Snyder. He didn't have any problem with Zack Snyder's direction. It was Josh Whedon. So there's a good chance that there's a good chance that Snyder would have put him on for some other stuff. But I don't know. This guy just got dynamite in his hands at this point and said, "Hey, I'm just going to blow up. I'm going to blow up everything that I can get my hands on right now." It almost feels like he felt that he didn't have anything else to do, that all doors are going to be closed off to him. So this was the only avenue he had. And so he's got to keep going with this at this point. He doesn't have, like, there's no other roles coming down the pike. And, he's got to get justice. And so he's going to have to go out in this particular blaze. And you didn't. You had some alternatives. I mean, you had people coming in telling you, hey, I mean, he took it that Jeff Johns was, I guess, trying to muzzle him or something. But from what I'm hearing, Johns is pretty much telling him, dude, you can get this done, or you can go about this differently, but this is going to affect you long term, and it has.
Yeah, it's a sad situation. Like I said, unless he has something more, it's going to be tough to come up with anything. So, best luck to him, and I guess Cyborg may be out of the Marvel, the DC universe for now.
You know what the freaking comics gators call him? They call him Cyborg.
Cyborg. That's not cool.
You just mad you didn't think of it.
I wouldn't have thought of it.
That was good, Petey. That was good. I mean,
so
what else does he look like now? This guy just looks like he was, at this point, again, you're an actor. You can get sacked off a film at any time for any reason. Your contract just means you'll get paid. Okay, they can actually film you, like they did with Anna Paquin for X-Men: Days of Future Past, and she got on. Okay, she got on with the director, and he filmed her and said, "Well, look, I'm not going to use these scenes in the film." That was it. That type of stuff. That type of stuff happens. It can happen for innocuous reasons. It can happen for reasons where, okay, I'm trying to throw scat on you. It can happen for other reasons, whatever it may be. But that's a part of this whole process. And it seems that other people were able to successfully navigate it once they get to that level. Not Ray Fisher. Okay, not Ray Fisher. Anna Paquin didn't come out and say, you know what, Bryan Singer had me do all this acting and didn't use it. I think Bryan Singer doesn't like me, or he has something against people like me, or something of that nature. No, that's what happened. Fisher, I was treated terribly, and he doesn't seem, well, how can I parlay this into making certain I get some roles? No, I'm going to make certain I get nothing at the end of the day for all of the stuff that I have. It, rather that happened to me. Doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. Doesn't seem that he understands how his own business works, and he's an actor in that business. But hey, he's got to that level, and I haven't.
But well, I have to call out this, because remember the whole Kaepernick thing. Everybody's like, yeah, stop doing it, chill out, and look, he was vindicated. He actually won against the NFL. Of course, they even supposedly gave him a chance, and that didn't work out. But the fact of the matter is, more came out. People saw what he was trying to bring up, and it may be the same thing with Ray Fisher. We don't know for sure still. We have not heard the whole story from beginning to end as of yet. Unfortunately, it looks like right now it's not going to happen. But Ray seems to be digging in for a long fight. Whether it's good or bad right now, I don't know what's going to happen. But it's you've had a lot of actors, unfortunately, who've gotten allegations about being difficult. What's the name of the brother who is now in what is it? All of Us. He was in Grey's Anatomy, I believe it was. He got into a fight with another actor or said something.
Isaiah Washington.
Isaiah Washington. Now he's in a hit show now. And he said that whole thing was mischaracterized. So it's it's tough to say what's going on when you have two individuals with diametrically different points of view. You know, what he thinks happened, may have occurred, or his interpretation of it versus what's happening others. But I know for sure that Warner Media made a calculated business decision. And they're like, hey, who's more valuable in this situation? And they're going to say, we'll get rid of Whedon, but we'll keep Hamada and we'll keep Jeff Johns, and we're going to let Ray rock. That should be enough. But Ray clearly is like, nah, more heads got to roll, you know? So that's the thing there. So, hey, if you guys have anything else to say, spin rack,
Out.
out.
Out.